Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to do a DK Engineering style user's guide video of the 997. Now DK Engineering do these fantastic videos where they walk you through things like an F40, a McLaren F1, or I think they did even a Mercedes GT1 CL kit or Porsche GT1. So they do some crazy cars, so hopefully I'm not stepping on their toes with this. And I also don't have a crazy nice venue to do it in. I am at the British Motor Museum car park and this is the best we can do. So yeah, so let's get into it about the 997. So the 997 was the second generation of water-cooled Porsches, and it came out in 2004. There are many iterations of the 997. So mine is a Carrera S coupe, but you can get it in a cab, which is the drop-top version. You could have got a Targa, you could have got a four-wheel drive or a two-wheel drive like mine, manual Tiptronic. There's all sorts of different options, along with different specs for the engine. So you can go with a 3.6, just the base model Carrera, or you can go with a 3.8 like mine has, which is the Carrera S, as well as the turbo models, and then obviously the GTs and then the GT RSs, which the 4 litres are just the holy grail of sports cars. So today we're going to stay focused on the 997.1 iteration of the 911, because they did do a midlife refresh, which is the 997.2, and that fixed a lot of the issues that this guy had. But mine is a 997.1, so we're going to stick to that relevant information. I hear that the 997.1 has slightly more soulful engine note and characteristics, but the 997.2 in the UK it commands about a 10 grand, 5 to 10 grand premium for one of those, and really, I'm not sure it's too worth the price, to be honest, because you can pick one of these up with an engine rebuild for 10 grand less, and then all your problems are solved, like I did. Well, I say all your problems are solved. I've had a fair few, but we move. So with all that being said, let's start off with the front of the car. So the front of the 997 is really where most of the changes are going to be recognised from the 996. The 996 headlights, they kind of wrapped around here, and they had the famous fried egg shape, which not a lot of people liked. I think it's kind of coming into its own now, and it's becoming a kind of classic in its own way for people that like that car. It is still a 911, which is a mighty impressive car anyway, but the classic look is of course these round headlights. Mine have seen better days. I do need to get some new ones probably, but these round headlights returned on the 997.1, which I think is why they kind of have held their value a little bit stronger. They retain that classic look. So at the front you'll also find your front radiators on either side, and then this scoop thing, which apparently helps with aerodynamics. Mine fell out in my ownership and I've had to get it bonded back in, but anyway, these are where the radiators sit. You can get some radiator kind of mesh to sit behind this bit of wing. I think I might do that because there are a lot of leaves around in the autumn in England, so it just protects those radiators from getting filled up with crap. Under here is also where they feed air to the brake ducts and the brake cooling, which does have some underfloor aero to help with that, and they channel air into the brakes to make sure they're cool. So lastly, the bonnet, or the frunk as you might want to call it. Now the frunk I can open by holding down a button on the key. It'll be this central button in the middle. By holding that down, I can then open the boot or the frunk just by sliding your fingers under, pull across, and then up. So plenty of space in this boot. I'm not sure what the literage is, but you can fit plenty of bags in there for a couple to go away for a weekend or a week. If I'm honest, I haven't struggled so far yet. You will also find your emergency triangle there, and underneath the boot floor is where you will also find access to the headlight remover tool, which you kind of go in there, you turn the headlights, and the headlights kind of plug out, which is pretty cool. You also have a few compartments in the front. So this, if you have the optional CD changer, that's where you'll find that. Mine has that. You also have a top mounted access point there, where if you want to store any goodies, smuggle any drugs maybe, you can chuck it in there. A little one here which is for your brake fluid reservoir. battery is hidden under here. You should have 2 plugs. Mine seem to have gone missing. Either side of the battery as well, there's 2 panels, one here and one over there. Over there you'll find your washer fluid as well. But these panels will remove so you can get access to your top mounts of your suspension. And if you have coilovers like me, then that's where you'll adjust the dampening on your coilovers. So that's it for the front. Let's move on a bit further down the car. Oh, and one last thing before I finish off at the front, just to close the bonnet, it's just let it drop down and then press with your palm on the Porsche badge and it's closed. So that famous 911 side profile, it looks amazing, doesn't it? So with a simple press at the top of the key fob, I can lock and unlock the car and gain access. Now the car also has its fuel tank in the front, so if you're going to fill it up, here's where you do so. Just pop that open, unscrew and fill up. Make sure that's closed. The mirrors, it's worth noting, on the 997.1 are a bit thinner. So in the 997.2 what they did was they made them a little bit taller and bulkier. I prefer these sleeker looking mirrors. I think they look fantastic. They might not work as good as the 997.1.2 mirrors because they are pretty. Ladies and gents, I do apologise, but my mic ran out of storage on its SD card, so the rest of the audio is from the GoPro only. Do apologise. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the video. Looking out of a letterbox, but to be honest, all I care about seeing is who's behind me and these rear arches at the bottom of the wind mirror because it looks fantastic. So to get in the 911, what I do, I tend to kind of put my seat back quite a bit because I am a bit of a larger fellow, and just put my left foot in and then lower myself in slowly, and then you find that you're in the car nice and comfy. Put that seat back to where I want it and you have this amazing view in front of you of all these 5 dials and this beautiful interior that Porsche made. So once you sat in the car, you're greeted with this view. You've got these beautiful 5 dials in front of you. Oil temperature on the left, speed just left of the main dial in the middle, shows your RPM and your speed at the bottom, as you can see. The top, you've got your coolant temperature and your fuel, and then the far right is your oil pressure. To start the car, just take your key, plonk it in there, just to the right of the wheel, press the clutch, and then you'd be able to start it. Dash lights up, and what I tend to do is wait for my oil reading as well, just to make sure everything's fine, and then you're free to start the car and get going. Now my car has the multifunctional wheel, which gives you buttons on the wheel. If I'm honest, I don't use it. The only thing that I might use is the volume, but I tend to go down here. So here is the main center console, looking very dated. Your beautiful 6-speed manual right here. Now these buttons tend to get quite sticky and old, but mine have all been replaced, so it's quite good. You can get a PCCM Plus upgrade for this, but my car doesn't have it. I do have an AliExpress version which I need to fit, but all in good time. Now here is where you find the lack of options. So this row of buttons basically shows whether you spec your Porsche highly or not so highly, and mine, as you can see, is not so highly. There's where you raise or lower your rear spoiler. Here's if you have PASM, where you press to make the damping harder or softer. Mine has had that deleted now because I have now got coilovers. And here's where you hold to turn your traction control off, I believe. I haven't pressed that yet, and I don't really plan to. Temperature and aircon, self-explanatory. Temperature on there, fan speed, set it to auto, and you're off. So 911s also famously have rear seats, so to gain access to those you just pull back here and then you can see the rear seats. To be honest, I don't use these for anything more than just carrying stuff I think if you were to put a human in there, you'd have to amputate their legs. My car also has the electric seats, which you can see all the controls there. And then here are the buttons. So we've made it to the business end now of the 911. Mine came spec with a rear wiper, not for long, that's going to get deleted. But here is where you will find a glorious 3.8 litre flat six engine that produces 355 horsepower. In the Carrera S, guys, was the 3.8. Now, there's not much to look at in here, mine's pretty filthy, but it makes a good noise when you're on it, and it's pretty quick. From back here, I think you can really kind of appreciate the stance of the car and see there's wide hips and the right wide tyres as well. So there you have it, my take on a DK Engineering style user's guide for the 911. Thanks for watching, and if you want to check out more user's guide, go have a look at DK Engineering's channel, it's really cool. The F41 is particularly interesting. For my channel, just keep your eye out for new videos. They'll be coming along every 2 weeks, hopefully, if we can keep it up over winter. Got some cool ideas planned. Yeah, thanks for watching.